Looking at a live picture as the beast follows the line of storms in eastern Iowa into western Illinois. This is by Durant. I think she's still headed toward the Walcott area eventually.
Yes, eventually she will, but she just wanted to take a break and kind of show everyone what's going on with the skies. Right now, all is quiet, and this is what we're seeing across our entire viewing area. All is quiet, is kind of waiting for those storms coming in from the west. The question is the severity of those storms once they do arrive here. We want that to be in a minimum at the best. We certainly don't want to talk about what's been going on out to the west. It's been really something else as far as the damage, the intensity of those storms. So
confirmed tornadoes.
Confirmed tornadoes, a number of those as well. So that is what we're going to be watching. And of course, we've been watching this ever since last week, giving you kind of a heads up of what's been going on. Then through the weekend into yesterday, keeping a close watch on it, give you even more details. Now we're ready to take action. And we really hope you're able to receive those alerts, whether they may be on our Storm Track 8 weather app, whether it may be even some of the radio stations that we have locally. iHeart radio station, over half a dozen our radio stations are ready to go, including KROS in Clinton, WRMJ over in Aledo, and let's not forget KMAQ over in Maquoketa. Keep this in mind. If we do have any tornado warnings in the immediate Quad Cities, iHeartRadio will be taking us live right here and give you the latest information when it comes to that as well. So make sure you are all ready to go with those alerts, making sure you're ready for your safe place. Everything's all ready to go. And make sure you're communicating with your family as well when it comes to the situation. Your cell phone is fully charged. Your flashlights are fully charged. Make sure your potted plants outside are close to the house as well. We certainly don't want those to be projectiles. And we're still looking at areas from 6 o'clock this evening to about after 9 of seeing that potential of widespread severe weather around here. We want to keep that minimal right now. Everything all quiet across the area, but look at that line that we see. Numerous polygons going on in the form of severe thunderstorm, tornado, even flash flood warnings that are taking place with that line as it continues to make its way off toward the east. We've already had numerous reports of damage in areas around southwestern Iowa, given the strong winds and even some of the tornadoes that have been spotted as well. We have that tornado watch across pretty much our entire viewing area until 9 p.m. This is a PDS tornado watch, potentially dangerous situation. And you can see some of the activity that has gone on with these storms as they continue to make their way from west to east, and numerous reports, including at least a half a dozen reports of confirmed tornadoes on the ground. We did have some small hail reported earlier in the morning in areas to our north and west, but other than that, things have been fairly quiet. But this is the concern that we have, the probabilities that we have where we could be seeing one or more reports when it comes to strong tornadoes, as strong as EF2 or greater, damaging winds gusting near, get this, 90 miles an hour. So certainly that's a concern for power outages around our area, and we could even see large hail. There actually is a possibility of maybe 1 or 2 reports we could see hail maybe the size of softballs. And that could be taking place more west of the river. So let's time this out with our future track. This is 6 p.m. We move it to about 6:30, and right now we're potentially going to be seeing that line getting across the river itself. Let's move it to 7:30, and this is where we start seeing the activity make its way along and generally east of the river. We get to about 8:30, and things begin to quiet down until we get to sometime after 10 p.m. That's when the last of the unsettled weather will be making its way off to the east, leave behind some quieter skies and some much cooler temperatures as we head overnight. Looking at lows dropping around the mid-50s and then rolling into our, I wish I can say Saturday. Wouldn't that be nice? Wednesday, we're looking at lots of sunshine, more of a westerly breeze, and more spring-like temperatures expected, with highs expected right around the mid to upper 70s. But a nice quiet pattern, and that'll continue on for a little bit longer before we bring back some more showers and thunderstorms in our forecast. We'll show you when with the help of your 8-day tracker right after this.
K9 Resorts, a resort for dogs? Mom, this place is luxurious.
Welcome to K9 Resorts, where we provide your dog with a 5-star experience. Love and fun included. This is Prince.
Wow, this sure beats another walk around the block. This place is awesome. Time to settle in for the night. This room is spotless. Hey, they have dog TV.
Are you ready to go?
Oh, so soon?
Let's go.
Dad, I love K9 Resorts. Can we come here every day?
K9 Resorts.
Here's your 8-day tracker. Quiet weather for tomorrow, quiet weather on Thursday, and then we could be seeing some more active showers and thunderstorms on Friday, taking us to Memorial Day weekend. And now you can see that we could be seeing some more wet weather sometime later on Sunday, but that's right now the only organized chance I see. We'll keep an eye on it as we make our way closer and closer to Memorial Day weekend. It is just around the corner, Shelby.
No kidding. Thanks, James. Well, still ahead, what's with all those junk fees? Is it legal for restaurants to charge you for things you weren't expecting? We'll verify. Coming up next. You're watching The Current on News 8.
Team coverage of severe weather that could bring damaging winds and strong storms through our hometown. Storm Track 8 meteorologist Morgan Strackbein is in the beast right now. Following these storms, Joe McCoy is live in Eldridge with how to prepare for possible power outages. But first, we go to Chief Meteorologist James Sahara, who's tracking conditions throughout the area. Hey, James.
Hey, John, yeah, a very busy day it's going to be for us, or at least going to be a very busy evening. Right now, things are fairly quiet across the area, but already we're seeing some of that severe weather just off to our west. We're already seeing the clouds slowly increasing from west to east, part of that line of severe weather that is slowly making its way. So let's kind of wind the shot. And there's the activity that we're seeing. Numerous reports of severe weather, tornado and flood warnings that have been taking place with this particular line. The red box that you see there, that's indicating a tornado watch for pretty much most of our viewing area until 9 p.m. But this is a very special tornado watch, a PDS we like to call this, a potentially dangerous situation that we could be seeing as we make our way in the early evening hours. This is where we're going to expect to see within this watch across the area, one or more reports of tornadoes that could be stronger than EF plus 2s. Damaging winds could be gusting near 90 miles an hour, and large hail is also likely as well. And within that watch area, we could get one or more reports of hail the size of maybe softballs. There is that chance that we could be seeing. Here's the breakdown with our future track as we go through the next several hours or so. And you can see this activity will be marching its way across the river sometime around 7 o'clock or so, and then pushing his way eastward, allowing the rest of the skies to be quiet sometime after 10 p.m. And those storms out to the west are being fueled by some of this very warm and humid air. You can see those temperatures are currently well into the 80s, near 90 degrees. We're noticing at the airport in Moline, strong winds coming out of the south, gusting close to 40 miles an hour, and that dew point temperature right around the mid-60s. So we definitely got that humidity in place, creating that instability, all that convective energy that we are anticipated to see to be a result of some of the active weather that we are expected to see going in to the early evening hours. We'll break it down even more for you, John, in just a few minutes.
All right, James, thank you. Let's head out to the beast for a look at what we are seeing out there right now. Morgan Strackbein, you are west of the Quad Cities right now. Now in Iowa, what are you seeing?
Yeah, right now we are just in between Durant and Stockton, just south of 200th Street. But we've just kind of been parked out here watching out to our west. So we are quite literally looking out west towards that line. Obviously, just a lot of clouds. It's been quite breezy. You can kind of see how the grass and all the trees around, everything is blowing, and it's a lot of wind, and this wind is warm and it is moist. So that's really that energy that we are feeling right now that's going to continue to add fuel to these lines of showers and storms that we're seeing just out to our west. So we're going to continue to track and watch this, and of course bring you hits from the beast as the storm gets closer to our area. John.
All right, thank you, Morgan. Be careful out there. And as these strong winds move across Iowa and into Illinois, they could knock out power lines. Let's check in with Joe McCoy, who's live in Eldridge. Joe, let's start with what conditions are like where you're at. It looks a little windy out there.
Yeah, it absolutely is, John. Winds have been whipping me from the west, hitting my back. You can see the light pole over my left shoulder here. It's been kind of swaying back and forth the past 10 to 15 minutes or so. As Morgan mentioned, this is a hot wind coming from the west as these storms are continuing to develop. And we talked with Mid-American this afternoon, and they say they have all hands on deck this afternoon to restore power as quickly as possible. They are stressing the importance of letting the professionals deal with any issues, especially downed power lines.
I can't tell you how dangerous it is to approach a line that is energized. We're talking high voltage electricity that's, dangerous if not deadly if you get too close or touch something that you shouldn't touch. So that's going to be a safety message that we will drill down into the public, and that is, if you see a line down, stay away from it, call us, we'll make sure it's safe.
Mid-American also stressed the importance of having a flashlight with you a charged phone, and also some additional food and water that could sustain you for a few hours. That is always a good tip, especially in severe weather. And if you are driving on the highway and you spot a tornado, they say do not stay under an underpass. That is not going to protect you from the tornado. And if you live in a mobile home, it's best if you can find an alternative place to stay. So if you're able to pre-plan ahead to stay with a friend or a family member, that is best case scenario. John.
A lot of good tips there, Joe. Thank you. And we have details on how to report power outages on our website, WQAD.com. Now, with this severe weather hitting our area, here are 3 things you can do right now that could help you stay safe. First, be aware of weather watches or warnings that may be issued by the National Weather Service. They'll all be posted on the Storm Track 8 app. Second, go over your family's emergency plan in case these storms become dangerous. And lastly, know where your emergency kit is in case you and your family need to leave your home in a hurry. And if you have to go out during these storms and high winds today, be mindful of conditions. The National Weather Service says being in a vehicle during a tornado is not safe. If you're on the road and you see one, the service says you should drive to the closest shelter. If you can't, the service advises you either get down in your car and cover your head, or abandon your car and seek shelter in a low-lying area such as a ditch or a ravine. And make sure to download the News 8 app and the Storm Track 8 app and turn on your location settings. It will help get you up-to-the-minute updates on how the weather is impacting our area before you step out the door. And for all the latest weather updates in your hometown, you can also text the word radar to the number on your screen. That number 309-304-0888. We also have continuing coverage of that double homicide investigation in Moline hours ago. the distance, but even just up close there, the wind really whipping. Obviously, I can only imagine what that situation is like. This is obviously near homes. You saw some of those homes in that video there. Right. If you see that approaching, it can be a scary sight. All of this caused by that same system that is making its way towards us here on the Mississippi right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call those funnel clouds. I mean, you can see it's actually
touching
on
the ground. Yeah.
So those are officially tornadoes on the ground
Right.
itself. We hope to keep that on a minimal around here,
Right.
not just tornadoes, but wind damage as well as some hail. We're just hoping and pray for that as we make it the way in the evening. I had to tell my dog, Layla, about the fact we have storms coming our
Everyone
way.
has to prepare.
Yeah,
somehow.
She's not looking forward to this at all. So she's prepared. The rest of my animals are prepared. Hopefully you are prepared come this evening. We've been talking about it since the last week, just giving you a heads up. And then through the course of those days, we've been kind of keeping an eye on it, making sure that you're watching for any updates, planning and preparing. Now we're at a point where it's time to take action, making sure that you're ready to act quickly when it happens, making sure that you're able to receive those alerts. One, of course, with our Storm Track 8 weather app. You can go to our partnership with our iHeart radio stations, as well as with KROS, WRMJ, as well as KMAQ over in Maquoketa. If we have any tornado warnings that pop up in the immediate Quad Cities, we will go live with the help of our friends at iHeart Radio to let you know exactly what is going on. Always make sure that you have your safe place ready to go as well. Make sure your phones are fully charged. We're talking about the possibility of some power outages around here. Make sure you have your flashlights already charged, got good batteries in there, and any potted plants you may have outside. Bring those close to the house. You certainly do not want those to be projectiles, because we're talking about all hazards of severe weather in play, and we're talking about a pretty good widespread outbreak as we head into the evening hours. That's going to be the best chance for seeing that. We're rather quiet around here, but you can see just off to our west numerous polygons going on in the form of some severe thunderstorm and even tornado warnings that have been taking place. We're getting a lot of reports, too, of damage that has taken place with some of those high winds and even some of those tornadoes as well. You can see that lightning just expanding slowly from west to east. That's all heading our way. Tornado watch for pretty much most of our area until about 9 p.m. This is like what we call a PDS tornado watch, a particularly dangerous situation where we're talking about strong tornadoes possibly, we're talking about damaging winds, we're also talking about the possibility of some large hail. Look at the numerous reports we've seen as far as some of those hazards that have been going on, especially in southwestern Iowa, where we've had numerous reports of confirmed touchdowns with some of those tornadoes. No worse than some hail that we had earlier on in hometowns to our north and west, but you can see that tornado watch covering most of our hometowns, most of our counties, with the exception around Bureau or Knox. That may change as we head later on this evening. So here are the probabilities that we see as far as seeing one or more reports when it comes to each of these hazards. Maybe seeing a tornado as strong as EF2, maybe stronger, 80%. Damaging winds, gusting near 90 miles an hour. That's a 60% chance within that watch area we could be seeing that. And hail, maybe the size of softballs. That's a possibility within this watch area as well. We're kind of focusing more of that west of the river for that to be taking place. So let's get right to it. The timing of it. This is 6 p.m. It's coming in a little bit slower, mainly just west of the river. As we get to about 6:30 to 7, that line will be slowly making its way across the river, mainly on the Illinois side as we get to 7:30, 8:30. The last of the activity will be just east of our viewing area, and then just some innocent showers, maybe thunder showers after 10 o'clock. Then things quiet down after that. Leave behind some rather refreshing temperatures as we head overnight, with lows dropping around the mid-50s. Then as we roll into our Wednesday, looks like a good amount of sunshine, a good west breeze will be taking place. That means we'll go from summer temperatures to more spring-like, with highs expected around the upper 70s. More importantly, the weather's staying nice and quiet. And we'll keep that going for a little bit longer until the next round of storms roll on through. We'll show you that with the help of your 8-day tracker right after this.
Live at the Rhythm City Casino Event Center on Friday, August 16th, it's country music artist Gabby Barrett. Don't miss the multi-platinum selling artist behind I Hope. The Good Ones. And more. Tickets are available at rhythmcitycasino.com or at the market at Rhythm City.
Here's your 8-day tracker. Wednesday looking good, Thursday looking good, and then we could be seeing some more active weather in the form of some showers and thunderstorms come Friday before we make our way into the Memorial Day weekend. And right now, John, we're making some little tweaks here. Right now, any organized wet weather could be later on Sunday, but Saturday actually looks pretty good. And right now, Memorial Day itself, not too bad.
Good. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to even just to tomorrow after today.
Yeah, no question.
James, thank you. And if you have pictures or videos of the storm and its aftermath, you can send them to us using the News 8 app. Just open the app and find the orange bar to share. You'll be asked to share a few details about what you're sharing before you submit. But most importantly, though, make sure you do not put yourself in harm's way just to capture an image. All right, coming up, the Trump hush money trial. a little windy, a little warm, but calm relatively. It's crazy how things can change so quickly.
I think Joe McCoy put it perfectly. It's a hot wind that we have out there, and that's going to really help fuel those showers and thunderstorms that we see out to the west. Already we've been seeing numerous reports of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings with this particular line. It continues to slowly make its way off to the east. I would say from like about 6 to 8 p.m. or so, right in that general area, kind of leaning more towards 7, 8. We could be crossing the river by then. So our thing is we just want to make sure that those threats that we see coming in are going to be at a minimum once they do make its way across the area. But we'll keep you updated throughout the evening once coverage takes place.
So close to our hometowns right now, James. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here for News 8 at 6.
to find out where everybody is right now and working to find out if people are okay. It's really hard to put this into words, and it's a really, really sad and scary scene out here. But the whole community does look to be out here. We have the Casey's right here too that is completely destroyed as well. That got hit pretty hard. But yeah, looks like we're on the side of town that was hit really, really bad, and that's right where that hospital was. So we're gonna make our way to that Dollar General to see if we can find out where triage is going on and what's kind of going on to make sure everyone's okay.
And Dana, I understand this is emotional and tough to sort through, so just take your time. We appreciate everything that you can show us right now. We have a lot of people who have loved ones in Greenfield. They are just waiting for any word that we can get. I see a lot of debris there. I mean, you're seeing it all over town. Have you seen anybody that looks like they have been injured or heard of any injuries or anything of that matter?
So we haven't seen anybody or any sign of injuries. All I can tell you is I did see those 3 ambulances leaving when we were driving in, and we do keep seeing ambulances driving around. So we don't have anything confirmed right now, but it is a really scary, indescribable scene out here. So we're gonna keep working on that.
Okay, Dana and Rachel, thank you for what you're doing. Be safe out there. We'll check in with you again when you have a little bit more to update us with. And I do want to speak to those injuries and that response that Dana was just talking about. We did hear that this might be a multi-community response, and we're starting to see evidence of that. We have been in contact with the Earlham Rescue Captain Blake Boyle. He says in his community there at the Earlham Fire Station, a family from Adair County that was impacted by the tornado came to the fire station for help. They were transported by a Madison County ambulance to a Des Moines hospital with serious injuries. So we just saw a Taylor County ambulance there. We're hearing of Madison County. This is a multi-county response right now. We're just running our open right now so we can restart our newscast, but here we are again at the 6 o'clock hour. Just want to let you know that we are in Greenfield. We're getting our first looks. As you can see, there are huge emergency response in that community as they just start to assess the damage, figure out if there are people who are hurt and need help, and really just take in what's going on. And this goes on, Chris and Brad, as we're still watching more severe weather in this state.
Yeah, we're not completely out of the woods for sure. We have a couple of tornado warnings. It
would take a lot for us to see that kind of size, but nonetheless, that chance is certainly out there. Here's our future track, and I'll try and see if I can kind of stop this a little bit here. But as we get to about, I would say backtrack a little bit, maybe about 7:30 is when we start seeing this line eventually cross its way across the river itself into our eastern counties. This is about 7:30, and then this is around 8. By the time we get to maybe about 9 o'clock or so, just some leftover activity, non-severe, will be expected sometime after 9:30 or even around 10. Right now at the airport of Moline, all is quiet, but that wind continues out of the south, keeping conditions very warm. Even quite humid too. That dew point temperature in the mid-60s or so. That's certainly creating that instability in the air, and that will continue to fire those showers and thunderstorms and continue to advance its way eastward. Any warnings that do pop up, we're going to let you know right here on News 8, John.
James, thank you. And of course, we are following these storms. We're out there. The beast is out there. Let's take a look at what conditions look like right. You can see the camera spinning there on top of the beast. A lot of clouds out there. We've seen this in a lot of areas. This is in Durant, Iowa right now. Of course, we know the really severe stuff, as James just mentioned, is heading our way right now. And make sure to download the News 8 app and the Storm Track 8 app and turn on your location settings. It will get you up-to-the-minute information on how the weather is impacting our area before you step out the door, and for all the latest weather updates in your hometown. Of course, you can text the word radar to the number on your screen, 309-304-0888. And if you have any pictures or videos of the storm and its aftermath, you can send those to us using the News 8 app. Just open the app, find the orange bar to share. You'll be asked to share a few details about what you're sharing with us before you submit. But it's really important to remember that you not put yourself in harm's way, just trying to capture a video or an image. And as these strong winds move across Iowa and into Illinois, they could knock out power lines. Let's check in with Joe McCoy, who's live in Eldridge. Joe, a few minutes ago, we were with you, and it looked sunny and windy. What are conditions like now?
Well, John, I was ready to come on the air and say that not much has changed from 5 o'clock, but that is not the case. These winds have certainly picked up with really in just the past few minutes. It's no longer sunny out here. That wind is really whipping from the west. We've seen the trees start to shake a little bit. The light post behind me has been shaking back and forth, so these winds are definitely picking up. And we spoke with the Wind American this afternoon, and they say that they are all hands on deck as they look to restore power as quickly as possible when it does go out. Mid-American is stressing the importance of letting the professionals deal with any issues, especially down power lines.
I can't tell you how dangerous it is to approach a line that is energized. We're talking high voltage electricity that's, dangerous if not deadly if you get too close or touch something that you shouldn't touch. So that's going to be a safety message that we will drill down into the public, and that is, if you see a line down, stay away from it, call us, we'll make sure it's safe.
You want to make sure to have a flashlight on hand as well as your phone charged and a few hours of food and water that could sustain you. That's always a good tip, but especially now with severe weather. Also, if you are driving on the highway and spot a tornado, do not sit under an underpass. That underpass is not going to protect you. Also, if you're in a mobile park, the best case scenario is if you can leave the mobile park, find a more permanent shelter. If you're able to plan ahead to be able to stay with a family member or friend, that really would be best case scenario. John.
A lot of good tips there, Joe. Thank you. And we have details on how to Weather and look from the beast. And you know, James, something that Morgan talked about, Joe talked about this, and of course, if we step outside, we feel this. You see that wind? It's a warm wind.
Yeah, it's been
and that's an
gusting
important part of all of this.
Exactly. It's been gusting around 40 miles an hour, and we've got a humidity out there as well. So key ingredients to help fuel these very active thunderstorms that we're seeing just off to our west. And already in some of our viewing area, we already have some warnings taking place.
Yeah.
And these storms are moving really quickly. They are moving so fast. So let's show you our radar right now and show you what's been taking place across the area with some of these warnings that we see, mainly west of the river. These storms are really beginning to blossom in a big way from southwest to northeast. So let's kind of zoom in here if we can and show you one of the warnings that is taking place. Might have even have to update this because these storms are moving so quickly, but within our tracking area that you see right there, if you're watching us in Loudon, Oxford Junction, even around Monmouth, Iowa, you're going to be impacted by the severe storm. It's moving around 60 miles an hour, about half-dollar-sized hail indicated by radar as well, as that makes its way off to the north and east. We make our way into southeastern Iowa. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that we see here. Look at the cluster of lightning. That is some serious convection going on here with those storms. Here's our warning that we see. We've got two of them. Well, the one we'll keep an eye on will be this one, just right of Mount Pleasant. And that is until 6:45. Quarter-size hail. Winds, actually, the movement of this storm actually has been updated 70 miles an hour. This storm is moving all across the north and east. And the storm, the areas, I should say, that will be impacted will not only be around Mount Pleasant, which is already taking place right now, but around New London, Greenfield, even around Columbus Junction, with that particular storm as it makes its way off to the north and east. Things are just really blossoming in a big way. And you can see the red boxes that we see here, that's indicating a tornado watch. And for our area, that is until 9 p.m. That covers pretty much all of our counties, except for two, Stark and even around Bureau County. But I believe that may change as we head into the evening hours. And this is what we call a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation, where we could be talking about some very strong tornadoes, some that could be EF2 or higher. We could be talking about some large hail that could be as size as maybe a softball. And we could be talking about damaging winds that could be near 90 miles an hour as well. So this is what we'll be keeping an eye on. Look at the reports that we have. And around Greenfield itself, that's where we had some tremendous damage. It almost wiped out the town from some of the reports that we're getting out there. Nothing else we're seeing any reports here lately, but of course, that will be changing as we head into the evening hours. So once again, the probability is they're seeing some extreme hazardous conditions are still in play here, especially when it comes to not only the tornadoes, but keep in mind the damaging winds that we could potentially see within this watch alone, okay? Within this watch alone, that could be gusting near 90 miles an hour. Take a look at our future track. This is showing about 6 p.m., and it's pretty much on cue. What we're seeing as far as the activity just along and west of the river. This is around 6:30. We get to about 7:30. And keep in mind, these storms are really blossoming in a big way, a big line that will be taking place along and east of the river as we get to about 7:30. By 8:30, I think we'll be dealing with just now leftovers going into our friends in Bureau County, right around Princeton. And then it'll be just nice and quiet as we go through the rest of the night. We're also going to cool off those numbers from those upper 80s here in 90 that we had for daytime highs down around the 50s for overnight lows. And as far as our Wednesday is concerned, looking nice and quiet. No unsettled weather that we see, a nice west breeze. So we'll go from summer temperatures today to more like spring temperatures come tomorrow, with highs expected right around the mid to upper 70s. More importantly, skies stay nice and quiet, and we'll continue that just for a little bit longer before we bring some more showers and thunderstorms back in the forecast. We'll tell you when, with the help of your 8-day tracker, right after this.
Nearly 30 years ago, Mediacom was founded on a powerful idea: bring cutting-edge broadband to underserved communities. From coast to coast, we connected 850,000 miles of fiber. Our team broke speed barriers, delivered 1 gig speeds to every customer, has led the way in developing a 10G platform, and now with Mediacom Mobile is offering the fastest, most reliable network on the go. Mediacom. Decades of dedication, decades of delivery, decades ahead.
Here is our 8-day tracker. Wednesday looking quiet, Thursday looking quiet, and then as we get to Friday, Could be talking about some more active showers and thunderstorms, hoping nothing severe. That takes us to the Memorial Day weekend. Right now, Saturday looks great. Memorial Day itself looks great. Sunday, we could be talking about some later day showers in the forecast. So now we're 2 out of 3 at least when it comes to nice conditions for the Memorial Day weekend. We'd like to make it 3 out of 3. We'll see how that turns out.
But Sunday is always a nice day to stay inside too, so.
That's always a true thing.
Not the worst thing. All right, thanks, James. All right, coming up.
It has been very active, especially just west of the river. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings already popping up. Some of those moving as fast as 60 miles an hour, getting some blinding rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, hail from quarter size to even ping-pong size with some of those storms, especially in southeastern Iowa. We'll continue to see this line advance slowly from west to east, and very likely we're going to be seeing some more warnings popping up. We just want to keep any type of damage or threats at a minimum as we go through the next 3 or 4 hours, John.
Yeah, and of course, I was about to say we'll see you back here for News 8 at 10, but actually, if and when a severe or a tornado warning pops up, we will be here on
We'll
the
be
air.
breaking the covers, go nonstop until the threat's all said and done.
There we go. Very good. Thanks, James, and thanks for joining us. Take care.
For areas west of the Quad Cities, that includes cities like Atalissa, Bennett, Moscow, even around Wilton, until around 8 p.m. And this is a storm that we're watching, indications of a large tornado that is on the ground that is swiftly making its way from southwest to northeast at around 60 miles an hour. We have spotters out there that have confirmed that there is actually a tornado on the ground. And from our reflectivity, you can almost see some of that curvature that is actually taking place now just outside the town of Wilton and continues to make its way off to the north and east. Not only do we have some circulation going on here, but radar detecting that we could be seeing hail about quarter to almost ping pong size that may be developing just outside of the town of Wilton, and that continues to make its way off to the northeast. So this is our hail potential going to our hail size. It is starting to grow pretty nicely, but once again, this could be indicating that by the time the hailstone actually reaches the ground, it's going to be more pennies. So we're kind of getting this information fairly aloft within the storm itself, indicating that we could potentially see hailstones even bigger than that. But the big concern is the fact that we do have this tornado on the ground and it continues to swiftly make its way toward the northeast. So let's kind of do this. If we go into, let's see, the circulation itself is probably just south and west of, I would say right around here. It's just south of Atalissa, just south of Wilton or so. That's the circulation right here. Let's go and widen this shot out a little bit. I do have meteorologist Andrew Stuskey here, as well as meteorologist Morgan Strackbine, and we'll continue to give you any more updates regarding this storm, as well as the other storms that we have going on across the area. But this is the only tornado warning that we have going on in our viewing area. Continues to make its way off to the north and east, so we'll be impacting Wilton. Bennett here going, if it holds together, in about just less than half an hour or so, and even around Plainville, all continuing to make its way off to the north and east. We've been keeping an eye on not just this particular storm, but other storms that have been going on around the area. And you can see how most of the warnings that we're seeing, especially thunderstorm warnings, have been primarily north of the I-80 corridor, especially as you make your way farther north along the river itself, north of Clinton to Savannah, even extending farther northward going into Joe Daviess County. All this, a whole lot of cloud of ground lightning taking place, some very heavy rain, and even some good wind that's coming down from these storms, where some of the radars are actually indicating that we could be talking about winds maybe clocked around 70 miles an hour. That's mainly radar indicated, but we have been getting some strong winds as these storms continue to swiftly make their way off to the northeast. Once again, about 60 miles an hour, these storms are moving, and combine that with the winds that may be coming down from the storm, yeah, you expect to see those winds to get even stronger. So that's kind of what we're watching from that particular warning right there. Another one we have to be concerned about for the potential of maybe seeing a quick spin up is this severe thunderstorm warning that is now out until about 8:15. That's for about a half an hour, and that could impact Mount Pleasant, New London, and even around Salem. I mean, it's already just outside of both of those towns, and this too is moving off to the northeast at around 60 miles an hour. So we have some wind that's with this storm. We could be talking about the potential for some quarter-size hail at best with that storm as well, as that makes its way off to the north and east. It kind of shows that it's losing a little bit of its punch. So kind of be questioning whether we're going to extend any more warnings from that storm as that continues to make its way off to the northeast. But right now, the big concern is this tornado warning that is out until around 8 p.m. And once again, we're going to be monitoring, we're tracking that circulation that is likely looking like so, right around here. So I would say just north of Wilton, we're likely seeing this tornado on the ground. Once again, spotters are saying that there's a large tornado that's on the ground, a very destructive tornado that continues to make its way off to the north and east. Really difficult to see that circulation, but once again, I think it may be just near the town or just outside the town of Wilton that is going on with that storm as that continues to make its way off to the north and east. Farther east as you go, not too much going on. Let's make our way toward Durant itself, and you can see nothing really going on except just some heavy rain, lightning on the outskirts of Durant. But really, this is probably the circulation right here that we're dealing with, right off of 927 right there, just making its way toward Wilton. That's probably the circulation that is going on with this storm. North of that storm right here, you're probably talking about a shield of some very heavy rain and likely some maybe some at least quarter-size hail that may be falling just north of Interstate 80. However, though, when it comes to our algorithms in determining the size of that hail, we're right now only getting maybe at best maybe penny size that we're seeing, okay? However, here's another thing too. We're noticing how these colors are really starting to take shape just north of Wilton itself. It was just, once again, just a couple of the oranges that we saw, and now we're seeing the yellow, now we're seeing a little green. So indicated by our algorithms here, we're actually maybe getting some at least quarter-size hail just outside of town of Wilton from that storm, this tornado-producing thunderstorm, once again, that continues to make its way off to the north and east. We've been kind of monitoring all these storms that have been going on across the area, kind of questioning the actual amount of severity that has been going on. But fortunately, things are starting to cook up a little bit. Nothing really too extreme, at least when it comes to these thunderstorm warnings that we've been kind of questioning. But nonetheless, the dynamics are certainly there to get those winds really strong, get some hail out of this as well. So that's why we're seeing all these warnings begin to pop up in areas mainly just to the west, east, and now north of the Quad Cities. The immediate Quad Cities right now, looking A-okay. So that is some fairly good news. But once again, we're still in a situation where we still got plenty of that warmth, even that humidity that we had across the area to produce some of these strong thunderstorms that are going on in parts of eastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois. Let's go ahead and let's go to Andrew Stuskey because you gave me some more updates here. I'm not sure what...
National Weather Service has gone ahead and they've canceled the tornado warning.
That is some good news.
For Muscatine, so yes.
Are they pretty much indicating that we're kind of losing some of that rotation, the structure is kind of falling apart a little bit?
That's what it seems to be the case that's going on with that right now. Definitely, I think it's still worth watching, but you can notice kind of on the latest radar scans that we're kind of losing a little bit of that organization. It's kind of becoming a little more disjointed there. I think it's certainly something to still keep an eye on for sure. But yeah, definitely a quick little probably spin-up situation. One of the things we've been tracking that potential for here for much of the early evening and late afternoon. I think that's probably the most organized storm we've seen in terms of a supercell structure or the type of storm you need to get a tornado to develop out of everything that we have seen so far this evening. And it looked like the one further south of that is starting to fall apart a little bit more too.
I think one of the things we're kind of questioning too, and for the viewers out there, we've been kind of questioning the lack of turning of the air. I mean, usually when you're talking about a backing of the winds, then you're talking about a situation where these supercell thunderstorms have the potential of producing a tornado. But we can maybe be noticing lately, I think it came over during the afternoon runs that we were starting to see this veering of the winds, this kind of clockwise motion. And usually that could be a signal of the limiting that threat of seeing some type of circulation going on, okay? So that's kind of why we're seeing the situation that we're seeing in, at least when it comes to our viewing area. So if you're just joining us right now, we've had this tornado warning out until 8 p.m., but Andrew just checked with our friends at the National Weather Service, and basically they're going to cancel this warning. Still, it's a situation with this particular storm that you're dealing with a lot of strong winds coming down from the storm itself, and that could still be enough to produce some damage. That's why outside of this tornado warning, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is out, especially just north and west of the Quad Cities. So that is what we'll continue to monitor. Yeah, it is really starting to lose a little bit of that circulation, even when it comes to the velocity mode that we're seeing here. We'll go ahead and show once again. Well, let's do this. We do have a camera out in Wilton, Iowa. So let's go ahead and pop that up anytime your eyes are ready. I-80 near Wilton. And I know that area actually right there, that construction area. Doesn't look like we're seeing much as far as the wind is concerned. The velocity, the visibility actually looking pretty good. So I think the storm itself, from that particular camera angle, I think that storm is more north of that camera angle. And I think visibility is really improving quite nicely around the area. So once again, let's kind of wind the shot out real quick, and then we're going to go back to regular programming. But we have any more tornado warnings that pop up, we will let you know. Of course, keep an eye on your social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, in case any more warnings do happen to pop up to keep you up to date as what's going on across our area. But that warning is going to be canceled, courtesy of our friends at the National Weather Service. They are the ones that issue these warnings, severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings. They're the one that issue it, but this is going to be canceled here in about 8 minutes or so. Andrew, just wind the picture out and just once again show everyone some of the other warnings that are taking place. You can see them all scattered about here. More ominous is those storms that we see north of the Quad Cities heading toward Joe Davies County. A lot of lightning going on here. A few more warnings that we see in parts of Henry County, Illinois, going into parts of Bureau County. That warning is out until about 8:30. Could get a nice wind out of that, maybe some penny-sized hail out of that as that continues to make its way off to the north and east. So once again, any more warnings that come up, especially any tornado warnings that pop up in our viewing area, we will let you know right here on News 8.